My name is Dr. Nathan Demers, and I'm a clinical psychologist with the U platform. I'm here in front of this fake virtual background working from my house because I wanted to share a couple of quick tips that can go a really long way in helping us all cope with this very unusual time. First, all of our research shows that whenever anyone experiences a major life transition, never mind everyone we know all around us, it's very important that our time spent in self care goes up, not down. So, with that, make sure that you're carving out a good hunk of time each day, whether that's one solid hour or three 20-minute segments, to engage in activities that really let you unwind. Whatever it is that lets your mind focus on whatever task is at hand and not worry about the many uncertainties that are among us is really what you're striving for. Whether that's a workout routine, reading a book, doing some sort of hobby you're really into, or simply hopping on Zoom and hanging out with friends. All those things can go an incredibly long way in decreasing stress and anxiety. Secondly, our brains are wired to really tune in to anything that could help us avoid a potential threat in the future. So, with that, it's really important that we're mindful of our media as well as social media consumption, because what we're doing with these 24/7 news cycles is really just putting our brains in overdrive. For myself, I set personal limits and I say I'm going to check the news once per day, and my personal news choice is BBC. I think they do a great job not over sensationalizing news, but also giving you the facts. So, whatever it is that you need to do to try and prevent your brain from constantly being in an overdrive, give it a shot. If you want to try no news for one day, see how that goes and see if it has an overall impact on your overall stress levels. The last thing, and this one can be really challenging, along that same theme, our brain is always trying to think ahead and predict what might happen in the future. But more often than not, and I think we all do this more than we wish, our brain often jumps to the worst case scenario. So if and when you find yourself thinking or maybe even ruminating about what might happen next week, not next month, next year, what's graduation going to look like? How does this impact my degree? Take a step back and acknowledge that your brain's doing a good thing in trying to protect you, but it's likely not doing so in the most effective way. An analogy that I use is that when we wake up from a nightmare, that's our brain kind of running off in all sorts of wild directions. And when we wake up in a cold sweat because whatever we dreamed about was terrifying, we can wake up, calm ourselves down, say, you know what, that was a nightmare. I can go back to sleep. It's okay. When you find yourself caught in that same thought pattern, thinking about something or a worst case scenario down the road, try and treat it like a nightmare. Simply take that step back, say, my brain's doing its thing, it's trying to protect me, but right now the reality is we don't know what next week, next month, or next year are going to look like. So focus on the facts, do your best to focus on the present. Continue to explore more resources on the U portal to help manage your mental and physical health. And please don't forget, there's no health without mental health.